virtual assistant. Chatbot basically is, I told you, the text and audio, and you can picture, you can use for the interaction. The virtual assistant, it's a very sophisticated interactive platform. It's intelligent based. The chatbot uses the simple natural language. It's not high level language. It will not use the high level language. But the virtual assistant uses the NLP, and it will understand your query, and it will build a response based on your query or you can request. So this next level of intelligence. The chatbot does not have sophisticated algorithm. It's a very simple chatbot, I'm telling you. If you're taking the intelligent assistant, can perform range of tasks deployed in the task decision-making process. Here in the chatbot, we are using this generative model or the selective model. Here, if you are using the virtual assistant with avatar, you can use API, with AI, and TensorFlow for deep learning process, Amazon AI, IBM, which is a lot of platforms are there to create the virtual assistant. Then how the chatbot work? There are two important tasks involved in the chatbot communication. One is first step, the forward. The user makes a request. So user request analysis. Now first initially the user start the request. Always expecting the input from the user. So it welcomes and gets the from the input from the user. So user makes a request. Based on the request analyzed by the artificial intelligence markup language, that's AI/ML. So artificial intelligence the user info taken into account. So if you are using the intelligent chatbot, it's all the history and preferences, all the data is taken and referred in the train data set, and it will be executed. Real-time responses as a conversational responses given or interacted with the user. So it analyzes the user request. Technically, it identify the intent and the entity. That means user intention. What type of, for example, I need to book a hotel. Here, book a hotel. These are the major intentions. Book hotel is my major intention. Book a room. Another book here. I want to book a table 3 for my birthday. This is on date. Here, the system need to identify the intent and the entity. Entity may be number of users or the date, the chair number. These are all the entity that can be replaced by the user in future based on the repetitive questions. So it identifies the intent and the entity. So the intelligence algorithm or the chatbot engine identify the intents and entities. After that, it will compose and reply and return the response to the user. For example, if you are asking the Amazon Alexa or the Apple Sree or Microsoft Cortana, what is the weather? It would respond according to the latest weather report it has to. So it get the input, identify you may ask different, what's weather and today weather. If you're giving this weather report, if you're asking this, it identify the intents and entities and compose and finally send the reply to the user or the client. So it can be hosted in any forums like social media forum or any forum. So the user interacts with the chatbot through the messenger. The messenger through the messenger may be a message chatbot application in your chat social media, or it may be a smart application or the mail. So it get the input. Then the chatbot analyzes the text through the natural language processing. The natural language processing consists in NLU. It will understand the user content. So the chatbot gives the answer, they understand, and it will executed by the natural language engine, and it will generate natural understanding generation, NLG. It will generate the response and send the response to the user. So the bot can learn from the from the training data set. So it sends the data response to the user. So there are two types of chatbot. One is a text-based chatbot, one is voice-based chatbot. Text, the user questions via text interface. Voice-based chatbot, the bot answers the users via like a human voice interface. You can integrate. And what are the different type of approaches are used to design a chatbot? It classifies into two categories. One is a rule-based chatbot. It is very easy to develop. Another is intelligent chatbot, as artificial intelligence-based chatbot. The rule-based chatbot is a flow-oriented. Based on the input, it will repeatedly ask the questions to get the clarification, then it will respond. Artificial intelligence, it's based on the previous history or previous data, it will give the response. So you can build the hybrid chatbot also. So you can integrate with the rule-based of the first level rule-based, the second level intelligent. If it is complex task, it automatically moves to the intelligent chatbot. Next is a human support chatbot. So the rule-based chatbot provides the predefined response. It's already, this response is fixed. It's available in the database. Based on the keyword used by this user, it will search and it will respond. So the rule-based chatbot have mapped the conversation using if-then logic. If it is true, then it will go. So there's a completely decentralized structure. You can develop the rule-based chatbot for the small business with a simple or a particular goal. These type of chatbots are very faster to train because of it's a lightweight chatbot. The data repository is very, very low. It's very fast to train, and the development is also very easy. You can use any one of the platform to develop it. These are very secure. It's not involving any intelligent process. It's very secure to deal with the user. You can easily integrate with any type of legacy systems. It can also include the media files. So it provides the, for example, it provided with a list of answers. If you are giving the query, it will match with the answers. That's a pattern matching process. The pattern matching process. So based on the matching, it will give the suggestions. For example, if user asks questions, the chatbot will answer how is the weather today? Is it hot today? Is it hot today? Is it cold today? Is it go to work today? So it will give the today weather report. Here, in this type of rule-based chatbot, the NLP and the NLE and the NLG is not required. It's not required. It's not present. So if a bot needs to deploy it quickly, the preference is rule-based. For example, a simple pizza ordering chatbot can be developed to get the order from the user. Here, it's not necessary to develop the AI-based chatbot. Simple rule-based chatbot is sufficient. It's only get the how many guests are suppose if you want to order the item or if you order the restaurant, how many guests or how many people or how many persons may come, which table or how many table. So it will get only this type of input from the user. So it's not necessary to use any artificial intelligence concept to construct the chatbots. You can develop the rule-based chatbot. It's sufficient. So the AI-based chatbot inherits the capability of artificial intelligence and cognitive computing. On cognitive skill, it adopts the behavior based on the customer interactions. It will maintain the previous interactions. So the example is eBay, Disney, Marvel. These are all the examples of these companies are using the intelligent chatbot. It uses machine learning technique to train the data to understand the meaning of the message and user input. The AI chatbot to learn from the user, and so more you train them and more appropriate answer they have. The main advantage of chatbot is the ability to analyze the collected data. So based on the user data, it will analyze, it will give the optimal solution. So the load will be increased in the chatbot side. That's the engine side. NLP engines has the maximum load. It's a deep learning. NLP is one of the deep learning based analytical language, natural language analysis. Such bots can communicate with multi languages possible. So AI chatbot makes an excellent decision based on the input time. So it learns independently based on the data. So it needs to be interactive if it needs to respond like human over a period of time. The AI chatbots depends upon the quality or the accuracy or the performance depends upon the three important, the model which you are used to construct, whether you are using machine learning model, or if, for example, if you want to handle the sensitive data. For example, I want to identify the build person. I want to send the message to that person, whether the person is build or not. I want to isolate that person from that mail, from that social media. I want to eliminate that person from my group. For that, I need to use a deep learning model. So accuracy is needed. And I need to train the effective training database. And the historic data, it needs very, very huge amount of data. Then if you're increasing the data, then only the quality will be increased. Otherwise, it will not give the optimal result. For example, if the user gives the complex type of questions, you need to train the system effectively. For example, I need a order to visa, I'm hungry, I'm starving, I want to say something. If you are giving this type of data, the NLP is need because of it must understood it needs some ordering an item, ordering food item, food is needed. So I'm starving. So here it uses these names. It uses some STEM tasks. Then the artificial intelligence, already I hope all the computer students or the listeners, those who are attending, familiar with artificial intelligence. It's one of the branch of computer science and technology, which will develop the lot of theories, methods, algorithms, and you can develop the applications with the simulating and extending the human intelligence. So the modern intelligence technology, introducing the new technology, it's a new problem solver. It introduces the new problem solving applications. It solves its excellent algorithms. It plays major role in transforming the business intelligence into fully predictive model. So it collects the data, it automatically predicts the prediction, complete prediction, suggestion, forecasting. So all the process will be done by the artificial intelligence with using the effective training database. That's deep learning is now deep learning leads this effective prediction process. So the chatbot workflow begins with so the presentation layer is the platform which we are deploying the service. So you can use web or social media, or it's one of the messenger platform. So the messenger platform is a communication presence layer. You're getting the input through the messaging backend. The messaging backend is send the data to natural language processing. The natural language process has the NLU, this subdomain of NLP. It understands the language which you are communicating through the natural language, and send the data to decision engine. Decision engine identify the tokens. It will do the identification process and search the data from the data source, or you can call it as data layer, through the data connectivity interface, and combined create the user response data or write the user response with using NLG, that's a natural language generation, and respond to the messaging from that platform and display in the chatbot window. So this is a simple workflow of chatbot. Now here the NLP plays the major role. I just a little bit moving the technical side. So NLP plays the major role. So the NLP, these are all the computer software which can take to user in natural language. It's a technological process that allows the computers to derive the meaning from the user input. I may give you any type of natural language input data. The system or the technology must understand what I'm going to tell. what I'm telling. So the NLP is one of the important programming language which will understand, dominant will understand the user language. That's a natural language. With the NLP, able to train the chatbot in the various interactions, it will go through and help streamline the responses it inputs. So you can do it supports multiple languages and multimodal services. The NLP process for creating a chatbot takes 5 steps or 5 stages. First one is, if you're sending any data, it will identify the tokens and normalize it, remove the stop words. Then recognize the entities. For example, I want to book the hotel on the date, this date, then room number. Here it will identify the date and the room number. So the system must understand or recognize the entity. Then the dependency parsing. So it's identify all the tokens are identified. Finally, it generates the response. So the 5-stage process involved in the NLP: tokenize, normalize, identifying the entities, dependency parsing, and generation. The NLP, I already explained, so used to describe the machine ability to ingest what is said to it, break it, comprehend its meaning, determine the appropriate action, and respond back in language to the user will understood. So the total task done by the NLP. Now, NLU is a subset, or you can call it a subdomain, that deals with how to handle the unstructured input and convert them into the structured form of machine. The machine can understood and it should act upon. So you may your pronunciation, your sabbed words, your link, or so all these things should be understood by the machine and should be converted as a predictable format. Then the NLG is another important subcomponent, which will write the response data. So it's the process to turn structured data into text. So what happens? The NL, using the natural language processing, convert the plain text into the plain text request into the commands. Now the chatbot throw this data to the engine after converting. The generation, the NLE generation converted as a response text. Suppose if you're doing any process, data layer process, it will analyze. So you can, for example, if you want to if you're ordering any item through the chatbot, sometimes the item may not be available in the particular shop. The chatbot may identify the nearest shop and it may communicate to the another backend service to order the component and deliver the particular person. So interaction with the other component. So to analyze the data and identify the suitable solution. If it is an intelligent chatbot, it will complete all the process without any time delay. So sitting in your home, you can order, you can get the your own favorite item without any problem with using the chatbot. Now the applications is towards chatbot applications. What are the main chatbot functions? It collects the data, yes. So without collecting data, it cannot do. So it can data. The data security is first important thing. So don't lose the data on your chatbot interaction. So data security is another important thing. It collects the data. Subscribe. So it subscribe can benefit you several ways. Next, variables that different outcomes. Use the different words and it should provide the answer. The response is another important thing. The conversation is first important. Then connect to the live agent. It should be provide the service 24/7 in any platform. If you're deploying the chatbot in any platform, it should give this service on 24/7. And what's the target and what's the engage? The history, just I will rush up the history of the chatbot is already familiar with it. It's not a new technology. It's very old. In the 1960s, is the first chatbot is developed by the MIT Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. Joseph ELIZA, the first chatbot is for the psychotherapist. So this chatbot examined the keywords given by the user and triggered the transformation to output. Then in the first 19 up to 19, after that is a Parry developed by the Stanford University to simulate the person. Then in the 1995, the introduction of the internet era, the first simple chatbot, Alice chatbot, was introduced. But the chatbot was failed in the Turing test. Turing test is one of the important testing techniques to test the chatbot. Mostly the chatbot, the passing of Turing chat testing is very challenging one. In the 21st century, the smarter child, that's a smartphone era, you can call it a smartphone era. In the 2001, the smarter child chatbot was built by the Active Buddy for providing the useful stock information, sports score, movie quote. So these type of information can be extracted from that smart child. Then 2010, Sree, this intelligent intelligent assistant, this is a personal assistant developed by the SRI. Finally, then it adopted by the Apple iOS phone. Then Google 2012 introduced Google Now, Cortana. Then after that, in 2016 afterwards, the artificial intelligence boom is raised. Now the Google Home, the excellent chatbot. Then 2013 with AI, 2015 API, Lucy's AI, all the lot of chatbots are introduced, and it's hosted on the all the messaging platforms and communication platforms like Messenger, Slack, Facebook, and all the social media platforms. So where you can apply these now. The continuation of the evaluation now. Most of the companies are using the chatbots for the intelligent as a intelligent chatbot. That intelligent include now education institutions are using the intelligent tutoring system. Now entertainment, foreign language learning through the tutor, information travel through the yellow page, online shopping, healthcare support. Now it is converted as the intelligent chatbot, not just a simple rule-based chatbot. It's intelligent chatbot. Okay, now a little bit technically, there's a chatbot. How you can develop a chatbot? I'll discuss two important areas. One is it's a frame through the framework, another the platform. The framework it consists the collection of classes, or you can call it as libraries, with the goal of providing the build a software. So a lot of framework are there. That's freeware, then proprietary softwares and open source software is there. That's Microsoft, then Google Dialogflow, IBM version. These are all the proprietary softwares. Microsoft, Google Dialogflow, IBM version. So these are all the proprietary softwares. You can enjoy with the limited future. And open source chatbot framework is there. Now the Rasa is one of the well-known open source framework. Most of the intelligent chatbots are developed with using the Rasa. And Vijayakumar, WordPress, BotKit. These are all the open source chatbot framework. The Rasa uses the Python languages, Vijayakumar, Python, Ruby, WordPress, JavaScript, BotKit is Node.js. All are mostly are using the NLP. It supports NLP. While you're developing the chatbot with using the Rasa, the development is a little bit challenging. It's ease of use is 80%, but the stability and security is very high if you're using the Rasa framework. It consists a lot of plugins, a lot of features, a lot of libraries, a lot of classes are there. You can use to build Rasa to build a chatbot. So it can integrate with Facebook, Telegram. You can integrate with all the websites if you develop with us, Rasa. You can use the chatbot with the home automation device also. So these are the important frameworks that are used for. And the platform. The next one is the platform. So the platform refers, it's actual short for, you can call it as a platform hardware or software platform upon which a piece of software is built or for which is to destination. It's very easy. It's a freeware you can download. For example, MapAI, FlowXA, Snapshot. You can register the your username with the portal, and you can develop your own chatbot with that platform. So they have their own platform. You can develop your own chatbot with them in that platform. So these are all well-known platforms like MapAI, API, Motion AI, Chatful, Minibot, Recast. So these are all well-known chatbot platforms. So without any installation, you can develop your own chatbot within a 5 to 10 minutes. There is no code requirement. Code knowledge is required. Then where you can develop, deploy the chatbots, you can deploy it in WhatsApp, Facebook. It supports WeChat, Skype, Slack. So and more. You can deploy on this. And while you're developing the chatbot, what are the basic components you must know? So you must know what is intent. That means intention of the user. When a user interacts with the chatbot, the system, the chatbot must understand the user intention. That's intent. Then the identity, then entity. I already explained this entity. It's a metadata. The intent has the metadata. If I'm telling this a book, a movie, ticket. This is a statement I given to the input to a chatbot. So it consists in an entity. So the entity book, a movie, ticket. Here is a movie. Which movie? How many tickets? So movie and ticket. These two entities. Flight booking, ordering items or size, restaurant booking. It's a room number or the table number or the number of guests. So these entities need to be collected. The second component is entity. You must know what is intent and its entities. The utterances. So a simple statement may give the different forms for the same question. So you have to train with that. You have to train with that. So the training bot is next. You need to build a model, this artificial intelligence model or NLP model. As a deep learning model based on your application, you have to build a model. We'll learn from the existing set of defined entities and utterances and how to categorize the new utterances and provide the confidence score. The confidence score is finding what intent and intents may belongs to. If the confidence score is high, it's highly optimal result. So your model will result how it will be confidence. So this you must familiar with the 5 components. Now we know how to develop a simple chatbot with this in the dialog flow. So dialog flow gives the user new method and you can interact with the product by building engaging a voice, or you can build with the text-based conversation or the voice-based conversation. You can develop voice up or you can develop the chatbot. It's powered by the dialog flow is powered by AI by the Google Corporation. It helps to connect with the user in your website, or you can use with your mobile. Now the Google Cloud taken care by the dialog flow. Now the Amazon Alexa, Facebook Messenger, all are using this facility. Then how you can develop your simple application? For example, I want to book a restaurant, or I want to book a food item, or I want to ticket air ticket. So for that, if you want to develop a simple chatbot, dialog flow, just I share my screen, one more screen. There's a browser. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The browser? Now it's
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just I saw the dialog flow screen. So this is a dialog flow. Can you see that?
So I'm seeing an indent a page with content.
Exactly. This is a dialog flow. This is a dialog flow. This is just a I hope this network is network is not supporting to me. Now, how to develop a simple chatbot application? Just I will so simple method. So dialog flow, you need to create. You need to create. First step, if you want to create a chatbot, is here. The first step, you need to create a new agent. In the new agent, if you are creating a new agent, it will show how to create a yes. You can give the name for the new agent. I hope it. So here you can give any name. For example, food order. Food order. Food order. You can check that's a default language. This I'm giving the English is the English language. You can give. Then you can go with the default. Initially, if you are a learner, go with the default language. It's a default time zone. It automatically takes your installation time. And Google project. It's a Google cloud source. So it's taken from the Google project. So now if you're giving the create, it automatically get into the, I hope it's taking time. Just a minute. This is drawback of live demo. Through the network, if you are using the cloud, it depends upon the network speed also. Just I will show the already existing service which I created instead of creating a new one due to time constraint. Just I will show. Similarly, you need to give the create agent. You are giving the create agent. It will create one agent without creating agent. Agent here is an chatbot. This is an agent, chatbot agent, conversational agent. If you're not creating, it's we can't able to give the intent. So this is a method of creating the chatbot. You can see what all the agents are created. So I have created the restaurant. Now we created the food order. Similarly, already I just for already one of the session I handled with a restaurant. So in the restaurant or food order, you can give the name. Then the intent. In the intent, you are creating the intent. You have to create the. Can you see the parallel window, ma'am? If I'm switching, can you see the PPT now? No.
No, sir.
Okay. You can see only the browser.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now you have to create the intent. If you're clicking the create intent, then it you can if you're creating the create intent, then you can see the list of welcome intent. Select with the welcome intent, create intent. I have, if I'm giving the hi, you need to train. This is intent. I told you, know, this is the statement I'm going to train to my system. So here I'm giving the hi. Training phase, I'm hi. It will add in the my repository. And hello. Little similarly, you can add the welcome agent. This is a welcome agent. You can add any number of phrases to train your system. So you can add this hi, hello, welcome. So you can add the training phases. After that, after the training phases, if you want to test it, here, try it now. If you are giving the hi, what it will show? Already trained with hi, with how many guests? Already I trained with an example, so it will go, directly goes to the. So hi, you can train with the response. So the response you have to add here. If you're clicking the, I hope it's very slow or very speed. Default, you need to add text response. Default, you see with the, can you see with the text response? I hope you can see the text response.
Yes, sir.
So here you can add welcome to my session. If you're adding, click test response. Welcome to session. Welcome today. Similarly, you can add the responses. What type of responses? You can add the responses. Already trained some responses myself. So you can add the responses. So this is a simple method of adding the intent. If you are giving the hi, it will give the response to welcome to session, welcome today. So similarly, this method. So first step of writing this. Next, this is the first step. You are creating an intent. Within the intent, you can add the training phase. In the training phase, if you are giving the hi, you can add the list of intent statements. Then you have to give the response. The response should be a text response. You can add any number of response for that your statement, and you can add to click add response. It will train. It's available in the text response for. Next, after that, if you are getting the order, for example, after getting the input, this is a very simple statement. Here, there is no entities there. Hi, there is no entity. Welcome, no entity. Hello, no entity. But next, I want to book a table. So I want to book a table, make a reservation, or make a table reservation for 2. For that, I need to give the training. Here, you have to click the entity. Now you have to create the entity. Otherwise, you can directly see the intent itself. Can see in that entity. You can see the entity here. It's a entity. If you are giving the training phases, first you can give the training phases. I'm giving the training 3 statements. One is book a table for 3, make a reservation for 5, reserve a table for 2. I'm giving the 3 trainings. If I giving the training, the system has the defined entity that is called the system entity. The system entity is automatically diagnosed. So you can see that this is a system entity at symbol of system.number. This is system defined entity. It based on the training, it will reflect the entity value. So at the system of number 5 from the training. So here you can see from the training guest system number 2. So similarly, you can try system number 3. So yeah, I'm giving the training. After that giving the training, I need to move to the action and parameter. In the action and parameter, I need to give the in my statement, in my request statement, I'm having the guest keyword. So that's a parameter. I need to add the parameter. To the value, I'm going to replace the value with at dollar symbol of guest. So I'm giving the value. So how many guests? It will ask from the chatbot asked to me, how many guests? So the value, there's a value. Then the system must ask how many guests, number of peoples, how many guests you are coming. So you can add some prompts to get the input from the user. This should be required for finalizing the value of guest parameter. So you have to add the action and the parameter. So here you need to name of the parameter and value and what are all the prompts. You can add any number of prompts based on your requirement. Then make it as a record. After that, you have to save the system, save the chatbot. Then you can test with hello. So it reflects the hello. Then you can give book a room. Ask default response is how many guests? 3. So here you have successfully registered. Can you see the default response? Now user says 3. The chatbot response, you have successfully registered 3. I have developed simple. I didn't develop the statement by states. Here the parameters values 3. I can change the like this. So this is a method of communication testing. This is a testing method. Similarly, you can add the voice chat also. In addition to that, you can add or integrate any type of applications. You can integrate with the any type of applications. Where you are going to apply is a text-based communication, web demo, and in which area it's applicable for Slack or the Telegram or Line, or you're using the open source Skype or the Spark. So you can if you are enabling it, it automatically supports that service, that chatbot service to that application. So this is the method of developing a simple chat. This is the understanding purpose. This is the learning purpose. What are the, how it will convert. This is the trial learning purpose. After that, now can you see the screen, PowerPoint? Hello?
Sir.
Yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay. After that, just due to comprehension, I didn't get into the in-depth. Just this is the method of developing a simple chatbot for understanding purpose. So make the bot default welcome intent. I add the response. Then the text response is selected. I gave the name and save. You run it, try it now. It will give the response. Then intent and response is another thing. You have to give the collection of statements like a book, a table, make a reservation, reserve a table. You are creating the intent. Then you have to give the response, adding the response. Then you have to save it. Then you can add the train that parameters. That's the to train the entity. You have to give the book a name table of 3, make a reservation for 5, and reserve a table of 5. So these are all the system.number, system.date, these are all the built-in system entity. It's already available. It's not necessary to declare. Otherwise, you can define your own entity. That's a user entity can be possible, and you can add the parameter, and you can change the parameter name based on your requirement. Then give the prompts. You can see here, you can give the prompt, update the response, you can save, then you can test with the result. So this is a method of running the, developing a simple chatbot with this dialog flow. Here it's artificial intelligence plays a major role in the dialog flow of our, next, natural language processing and natural understanding already explained. If you are developing this NLP, natural language processing and natural language understanding and generation with using the Python based, I want to develop an intelligent application. Intelligent application, you need to use the NLP along with any one of the programming platform, programming technology. I can use the Python is one of the effective language. It will be used for the analysis purpose. So the Python has the one of the excellent library. This PASI is an advanced NLP package. It's a library available in the NLP. So this SPASI consists a lot of APIs. It's trained by the deep learning model, can be used for the chatbot development. It consists a lot of features. So it consists effective tokenization method, a lot of APIs to support multiple integrations, supports 28 plus languages, named entity NER, that's named entity recognitions, and built-in visualizer, deep learning integration is possible, part of speech tagging, robust and accuracy, evaluation accuracy, state-of-art method. So a lot of features are available in the SPASI. So you can use the library package to develop a chatbot in the artificial intelligence method. So you can use the Jupyter notebook. You need to install the Python in your system. Then you can use Anaconda, any one of the excellent IDs, Anaconda IDE. Then you can install SPASI, then import the package to develop your application. It consists, the first step, you have to identify the tagging process, part of speech tagging process. This process read the text and assign the part of the speech of each word or token, such as noun, verb, adjective. It identifies each and every token. So the SPASI loads the statement. It consists in an effective model. So it's like the context. and converts the word into the meaningful form. So the SPASI consists the lemmotizer interface. So it will convert, it will identify the words and convert it. So it consists of one of the important library, is a natural language toolkit. You need to use NLTK package to utilize the effective. Then you have to avoid the remove the stop words to effective process with using the importing the package stop word packages. Then you can include the tokenization. Then you can use call the NLP application. It will identify the text into the meaningful segments. That's token segments. Next, uses the pattern matching process to identify the comparative, the matching of the two statements. So these type of methods can be used to develop the chatbots with using the NLP Python packages. Another important, if you want to develop the advanced level RASA, advanced level in chatbot applications, you can use the RASA framework. It's one of the excellent open source machine learning. It supports deep learning services to build the effective contextual intelligent chatbot and the virtual assistant. There's two important modules on this NLU module and this core module. NLU, it's understand the messages which is given by the user and extracts the meaningful information. Core implements the conversation and designing what to do the next. So this intelligent process. For that, you can, if you want to implement the effective intelligent process, you can install RASA and RASA X. It consists of 4 important components in the RASA. RASA X, RASA NLU core and architecture. And, what are the key benefits? It consists of sophisticated NLU engine. You can develop the contextual projects with the minimum training data. With the the output is excellent one. You can deploy your own server by keeping all components in-house. You can develop your intelligent chatbot. For example, you can train you with a large amount of data in your in-house server. It's a highly customizable, allows multiple environment for development, staging, production, interactive learning process, able to send the mails and store the data in databases from the user interactions. Another feature, it consists a lot of integration features for the future development. So the RASA X and the RASA is important components. RASA X is one of the optional. If needed, you can use it. Otherwise, you can ignore for the advanced level, core level simple applications. The NLUs for understanding purpose. And core consists the dialogue engines for building the artificial intelligence. And the NLU already explained. That's how it will communicate. So it can